So uncivilized.
Everyone is coming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday night of Uncivilized Scoundrels. I'm your host, Mario, a.k.a. El Profi. You guys know me. We're here once again. Uncivilized Scoundrels, man. We're talking Star Wars tonight. Mainly, we're talking The Mandalorian, Season 3, Episode 3. And before we get into this discussion, I just want to introduce the panel tonight. First and foremost, I got my man, Vinny, coming back fresh from Shazam, dude.
Yeah, man.
Vinny, how you doing tonight, man?
Good. I'm on my third wind. I barely got any sleep last night, so after I got off work, I was like, all right, I need a second wind. I'm going to see Shazam. I don't want to be falling asleep. And it was fun. It was really good. If you like the first one, you'll like this one. It was just more of the same. Good action, good jokes. Okay. And then I got home and I was like, all right, time for third wind. Scoundrels time. And I've been hyped to talk about this episode of Mando since Wednesday. Yeah. So I watched it at least a couple times, and I can't wait to get into it. It was a lot to unpack.
Definitely, man. I'm very excited to hear everybody's thoughts on the episode tonight, man. Because me personally, I thought it was great. I thought it was a good episode, man. To be honest, but there was a little bit of tomfoolery in there, in my opinion. That kind of like fooled us a bit, but I dug it, for the most part. CC, how you doing tonight?
Good. Glad to be back. I know I took a week off, and excited about the episode. I had my boss's boss call me while I was at work, and I was like, oh shit, like what did I do? And not that he ever calls me about anything bad, it's just for some reason I just always freak out. And he was like, so I don't care. Well, we need to talk about that episode. And I was like, oh
no, like that. Damn. That's funny.
That I could do. Okay, yes. And then we just compared notes. So it was.
I love how every one of us knows what it feels like to be the designated geek in a non-geek setting, where they're like, hold up, we have to ask them to break this down because we don't get it. We all go through that. It's hilarious that you do even at your work, where you get called into the principal's office to explain Mandalorian.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what that was.
Well, thanks for coming through, CC. Great to see you as always. Up next, we also got the beautiful, the talented, the wonderful, the waving at everybody. Rrr Mmmm. How you doing tonight, lovely lady?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for the kind words. It's always a wonderful night when I get to talk about Star Wars with you fine folks.
Hey, that's right. That's right. Last but not least, got the man, the myth, the legend. Y'all know him. Leo's in the building. What's the scale, man? What's going on with you, man?
Good, man. I'm happy to definitely discuss yesterday's episode. I thought it was incredible. I like what we're seeing so far, and honestly, Bo-Katan hasn't been more interesting to me than she is right now. I mean, solid, like literally Katie Sackhoff. She's doing her thing. So yeah,
definitely, man. It's going to be an exciting discussion tonight, and I'm pretty sure most of us here are excited to see what direction her character is actually going to go in, man. And bro, we are coming off of a hot discussion, man, from Jay's show right now. I don't know. I don't know. Do we want to continue the momentum, or do you guys want to go ahead and just talk Mando right now? I mean, I don't know. You know what? I'll sit on that for a minute, man. So let me go through the chat. Let me see who's here. Let's see who's here tonight. We got my man Funky Cold Santa's in the house. What's up, Uncivilized? What's up, my brother?
Be right back.
Yeah, Payton 23's in the house. Uncle Keith Tobar, what's up, man? What is going on? The talented Renz Talentino's in the house. Get more to 1K. Yeah, let's go. Let's make that happen. Mark P's in the house. What's going on, Mark? Who else we got? Blitz. My dude Blitz 0065. What is going on? Eric Heinke's in the house saying, let's go. Finn should have been a Jedi. I know Brother Cousins was busy. Leo, you can answer my question. Mario, yeah. I want to. It's one of those discussions that we were talking. We went through all kinds of things regarding the sequel trilogy and the direction that it went, how things should have been, and it was an excellent discussion, man. Single songwriters in the house. I was told to be jazz hands here tonight. There you go. There's your jazz hands. There's your jazz hands. Do it again. Do it one more time. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Who else do we have? Mark P's in the house. My man Vinny's here, doing double duty in the chat. Along in the panel. Ash Chase is here. What's going on? You guys talking N1? Nope, because the N1's not happening, my guy. Latoya T's in the house. What's up, Toya? Just watching this week's episode. I'll be at the end of the chat family. All right. Yeah, definitely go check it out. Definitely go check it out. Who else do we got here? Smoke him if you got him in the house. What's up, brother? What's going on, man? My dude, Collector's Entities in the house. What is up, man? What's going on? Best Car Kid, 10 out of 10. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm really excited to hear everybody's thoughts about tonight. Blitz 65. Hello, CC. Saying hi to the ladies. My dude, Calvin. What's up, man? What's up, Cal? My dude, jaw dropping, meat platter dropping. Calvin, my dude, what's up, bro? Crow's Collections in the house. What's up, man? ¿Qué onda, profi, quarter skill, man? What's up, brother? Give it a champ. Who else? There are so many people popping in right now. Charlie Unicorns in the house. New topic. Yeah, bro. We're gonna be talking some of this Mandalorian stuff right now. So since we're waiting for Lil to show up, I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and just bring in the show. Let's just chat, Mando. We're at the top of episode 3, in which we're coming off of Din and Bo. They're out in the what was once the Mythosaur domain. Now in the living waters, Dan decided to take a bath and he fell pretty deep. Bo comes in to go save him and brings him back up. We start from him awakening from his bath, and he wakes up and Bo's asking him, "Hey, did you happen to see anything while you were down there?" And Den is like, I just saw like what I didn't realize that the cavern was so deep. She then mentions how, hey, these things got deeper just because of the bombing, the Night of 1,000 Tears. And then she asks him hey, did you happen to see anything alive down there? And he goes, what do you mean? And she's like, nothing. Never mind. Never mind. So this is the first time that we're seeing her, what's going on in her head. She saw that Mythosaur, right? And yes. she knows she is trying to get these Mandalorians behind her, just to take back the planet. So this is definitely going to be interesting to see where this is going to go with her. Like Leila mentioned earlier, we don't know whether or not if she's being set up to be a protagonist or an antagonist. So this is going to be, we're going to have to keep a close eye on this, with her knowing what ultimately her plans are. I'm voting antagonist. Antagonist, you think so? I think they're going to, I can see them both ruling together, if I'm honest.
Well, I liked it. I felt like it was really smart because if you don't have a way to get the sword from Jin, then you can get the, loophole way to rule. And I imagine that part of their culture is if you're bonded with a freaking mythosaur, that kind of maybe trumps a damn sword. Possibly. I don't know. Or maybe she just... there could be so many reasons, but I definitely don't think she kept that info to herself just out of concern for the other Mandalorians. I'm sure she had ulterior motives, whether they were selfish or not. I don't think it was maybe necessarily anything against the other ones, but she was looking out for numero uno, as she should be expected to do.
I think she saw that thing as her meal ticket.
Absolutely.
Like, way back into power. And I think it's a good reminder of like her end game, because I think what we know of her, we don't know much of her in Mando, but I think Clone Wars, it's like, Clone Wars Bo-Katan is in there. Like she's been there this whole time. So I thought that was a really, I called it where I'm like, dude, she's not going to say shit because he was unconscious. Like it wouldn't be in her best interest to say something to Mando. And I think she sees Mando as a threat. Like, yeah, he's very orthodox in his beliefs, but I think she could also see how that could be appealing when trying to build followers. You have a Force-sensitive youngling, and you're orthodox in your beliefs regarding the way, and you have the Darksaber. Like, that's all things against her. So she's like, you know what? People might ignore all that shit if I rock in there on a mythosaur.
Yep, absolutely.
No.
And she also might have wanted to make sure that she doesn't know if she can trust them. For all she knows, they may have tried to, bomb the planet again or destroy the mythosaur, so that way the Darksaber is the only path to hierarchy. So
you know what? She's much smarter than even us, the viewer, understands. She's a lot more smarter because the thing is, the time what I loved about the opening sequence is that when they open in, and like shots are always important and how well it's shot. You're seeing her sitting there looking over the living water. She's had time to think about a lot of things while Den was out. Number one, that Den was in there. She had to jump in to save him. Now, she know basically what he was doing was, again, redemption. If she's listening to him the entire time, recite the ritual as he goes into the living waters, that's kind of reinvigorating her as well. But at the same time, she's thinking about it. Den gets drug in. She goes in after him, which at the same time, she's bathing in the living water. She understands that. Not once, even knowing that, not once did she take off her helmet the entire time. So she's sitting there thinking. Also, she knows that he's got to get back, and let them know. Now, at that time, again, she had no plans at this point on going or going with him. Now, we already know what happens going forward. Before we even get there, we know it's coming. But at the same time, it's like she's planning things out. For her, it's not even about the Darksaber anymore. It's not. Eventually it will be, but it's not. Right now, she knows the myth, and because it's been told, it's been recited the entire time. So if you think about it, if you're in her shoes, does that really make her evil from her point of view?
Like when Sixavo was saying, knowledge is power. So even if she doesn't necessarily know what she plans to do with that information, she knows that ain't no reason to tell everybody all her cards yet. Knowledge is power.
I would not spill the beans yet, because the thing is, like I said, that's a trump card that you have. You don't want to actually play that. You know what I mean? So as we
not only is the planet habitable, the mythosaur is there. Yep. Not just real, but it's like she laid eyes on it. That's a lot of cards that no one needs to know she got.
No,
and I know we're only talking like 3 or 4 minutes into the episode, but this is a big part of the episode, and it's only 3 minutes.
Yeah,
it was a longer episode.
It's a hell of a cold open. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, like the whole thing, obviously. I don't know if you want to segue into the dogfight that they had, but like holy crap!
That's actually next. Actually,
that was incredible. I thought the whole thing between the reveal that she's keeping that under her hat and then segueing to this, it was like exciting television.
That dogfight was phenomenal, and it made me realize that between Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and Andor, we've had more dogfights and better dogfights in that string of television shows than we had in 3 major films in the sequels. I can't even remember a memorable dogfight in the sequels, and we're getting them on a consistent basis on these shows. It's Star Wars. You're supposed to be fighting in space, and only the shows are remembering that. This was incredible.
Yeah, excellent maneuvers from her. I like that R5D4 seemed pretty scared out of his wits. I will say though, and maybe like from a collector standpoint, I don't collect Hot Toys, but I know people are talking about N1 and stuff like that, and will they or won't they? I know Mario said they won't. But I was sweating bullets watching this scene, because while I'm not going to buy the Hot Toy, I just bought the scaled model from NYC, and I'm like, if they blow this shit up, so help me. Like, it's gonna be like the Razor
gonna happen, CC. I legit think that's gonna happen, man.
It's gonna happen.
I'm like, I would buy it, and then they're like, this thing's not gonna last even half the season. Like, come on. It is a beautiful ship, so I think, plus I felt nostalgic because it wasn't, not that paint job, obviously, but because it is in the Phantom Menace. But I thought this was excellent. Also, there's like small little lines during this that kind of say a lot. So in the beginning of this dogfight, she mentions that she's fought with a lot of warlords.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that implies that there's not just Gideon out there. And so as a Thrawn fan, I'm like,
right,
Yep.
exactly. That's
right.
that's where a lot of theories are actually spawning right now.
I
Because
think
it's not. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
we know it's not Gideon. And we know there's no way in hell that there's that many TIE interceptors that just come out of nowhere. They had to be coming from a Star Destroyer. So it's like, whose Star Destroyer was that?
Dude, Din just like dipped out of this ship trying to get to
on his Captain America shit. It was
free falling, man.
And before this, I love the they tend to get upset when you steal their warships, and it's like, oh, now you tell me. And it's like subtle comedy in the moment. Like we didn't, the show didn't squeeze to a halt in order to get in a funny zing. Like it was just organic comedy. Which is what put me off with that's using your headline in the first one. Like that is the type of slapstick comedy I don't like, because it's like like everybody stop and let me tell my little joke. This felt like it's organic and just banter, and that is when Star Wars comedy is amazing.
Bro, what was dope about this is how intelligent. Again, it's definitely foreshadowing. I mean, again, Jon Favreau. He gave us Iron Man, so he basically knows about aerial. He knows about aerial maneuvers when it comes to then jumping out of that, out of her starfighter with, and again, he descends quickly. It wasn't like he did not once, turn his jetpack on, because again, he needed that free fall for speed. So I love that scene. I love how that played out, but also I just love the simple fact that, Bo-Katan is a hell of a damn pilot, bro. She is. She was maneuvering that thing like it was, and that last maneuver, bro, that was insane. But
Bokio drift.
Yeah, bro.
Bokio drift.
That drift was incredible, bro. But it's just the simple fact that number one, we got TIE fighters, we got TIE bombers, bro. All of that basically,
interceptors,
all of that.
Bro.
It had the TIE interceptors, bro. It was incredible, bro. That scene, and that was just enough, like you said, like that one scene, because again, it's harkening back to Star Wars the way we know it, when it comes to those dogfights. And I love the simple fact that we got that aspect of it, just to play on words between her and Din, because we're seeing that level of respect. And I think that even if she ends up being women can't drive. That's funny, right? But she drives like an animal, bro. Like, swear to God, bro, she scares the shit out of me. I put them artificial brakes on. She can drive, but damn, bro, she dips. Like she dips, like straight up. But she's the Bo-Katan of Harrisburg. But straight up. But but I just love that banter, because even though like we might see a different side of Bo-Katan, even if she ends up being that person that we can't trust, there's a vested interest aside from that dark saber. There's interest in Din. Like there is, she feels in a sense protective. There's something there. I'm not even even if there's no relationship, there's a friendship and a level of respect between them. So I think that she wants to find a way that she doesn't have to challenge him, and it doesn't have to be something on that level. But at the same time, she wants to be ruler. We'll get into that, but I'm just saying, like, this scene, like, CZ said, this whole entry, the opening scene up until this point was extremely important. And they pulled it off. They pulled that off, bro.
And Bo-Katan has gotten very lucky at this point, because she'd probably be dead right now if she hadn't gone to rescue Din and was in her ship. Chances are she could have been in her house and they could have bombed the crap out of it. I mean, anything could have happened to her. She would have been alone, just her and maybe her robot. And that's it. So, she really needed to have somebody else watching her back. And if she's learned anything, she can't be in a position anymore where she's just hanging out in the palace. Like I said, Shinzano, she can't leave that kind of lifestyle. She's in danger, and she sees they came right to her front doorstep, bombed the crap out of her home. She did not expect anyone to do that. And it happened, and she's still in shock from that. But, she keeps her cool. She fortunately kept her helmet on, so you could see the tears in her eyes.
And you know what?
All of that.
We learn now, don't get too attached to things. In the immortal words of Whiplash and Iron Man 2. Don't get too attached, because damn, I was attached to that throne and they blew it up. I was like,
they blew it up,
blew it up, bro. Like they blew, just like we were basically attached to the Razor Crest, and they blew that up. So I'm like, damn, don't get too attached to things.
Nothing is safe, bro. We're doing Game of Thrones with all the ships and all the buildings. Bro. No, nothing is safe.
I also love the cockpit of Bo's ship because we got a full dash windshield, which is rare in Star Wars. Usually the cockpits are like a kind of a more narrow view, and you don't, and like it's obstructed, and it's really rare you get to see like kind of like a regular car's windshield would be in that behind a head shot that they had of her when she was flying, which I thought was just made it even all the more impressive. It looked like you were playing a flight simulator at like an arcade when they had those shots behind her like that. And it also showed that scene also showed trust on Din's part for leaving Grogu with her while he went to get into his ship, because there was no way he was going to get down there and load up Grogu, so he had to trust that she wasn't going to get shot down.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro, definitely. Shit, y'all are just running the show, man. I'm just gonna sit back and listen to you guys say your thoughts. No, that's actually a great discussion, man. You guys actually just killed that whole entire first part of it. And yeah, man, just one of the things I also want to discuss. I mean, CC
having CC back, bro.
Right.
when you guys see, it's like here's the thing, when you guys CC on the panel, right? It's like they combine for it.
Let them go. Let me make this popcorn real quick. I just want to watch the show, man.
We got things to talk about. Let's go. Let's go.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? Matter of fact.
Oh my God. Yeah. Cece, what an episode, and what a for Bo-Katan. She didn't see that coming from miles away. And I got to tell you, she is crying in that helmet tonight.
Well, you know what? With women, sometimes, especially when you deal with men like Mando, you got to just lick the stamp and send it. And I think she did it this episode. I think she really did. Yeah. She saved his bacon for sure.
And I think she's realizing what a great partnership they have. You know, maybe for the first time, she feels like she could be a partner with somebody. And I think that, you know, in regards to leaving Grogu with her, knowing that Grogu would be safe, you know, Grogu is listening and absorbing everything. He's observing things. You remember that scene where he was looking at her and she said, "What are you looking at?" And Grogu is watching very carefully the behavior of Bo-Katan and in regards to Din. And, you know, I wouldn't be so surprised if Din actually did see something, but he's not saying shit because he doesn't want anyone to know what he knows. I think he might have wised up a little bit more, CC3PO, because now he saved her skin and he's brought her to a place or a location that's safe. And he didn't really have to do that if he didn't want to. This could have gone down a very different way. You know, I know Grogu was on her ship. It's almost like he was forced to give her the coordinates, but I don't want to think that was the main reason why he gave her those coordinates. What do you think?
I liked that. I think they almost have a connection for that reason, that Grogu went to safety and he knew that safety was Bo-Katan. And even the conversation they had, I think it was prior, was with her telling Grogu, like, "Oh, you thought your dad was the only Mandalorian?" So I do like that partnership, and I hope it continues. I know people are a little, maybe this is the solution to, hey, Grogu needs a babysitter. I know that's like my guys over at Rogue 16 talk about it a lot. They think that Grogu is holding Mando back from being the badass we know he is, like the fact that he had to leave Grogu with Bo-Katan in her ship in order to jump in the N1 and nail it. So I think that partnership would really help a lot of those, I don't want to say plot holes, but the kind of like barriers that we're seeing with forwarding Mando's character. Because I like Grogu. I like Grogu with Mando. I like the partnership. I like the story. But I can't argue that I think that Grogu does kind of hinder Mando, because that is his youngling. That is his guardian. So yeah, I think that maybe this partnership with Bo-Katan will help with that in that regard. Also, it's so quiet here without the other.
It's very quiet. It's very different without the men around.
I mean, we just wanted y'all to go do your thing because y'all was holding it down for a second. I was like, all right, I'm feeling y'all.
That has been your segment with the ladies tonight. I'm telling you, man, you guys can definitely do your thing. Just hold it down, but yeah, y'all, yeah, great discussion. I'm like
killing it.
And this segment of the Woman DeLorean has been brought to you by.
Right.
Also, casual, watch the episode. My goodness, come on, get on that.
Casual, you've had since Wednesday, bro. I mean, yesterday, yeah. I mean, can't wait to watch the episode, but I'll watch the breakdown this weekend.
Shameful. He also bought the same N1 Starfighter that I did. So
all from NYC.
That doesn't mean it's safe. I think that means it's worse. Yeah.
What do you think about the Iron Studios one? That one's a little bit bigger, isn't it?
I don't like that one, I really don't like that.
I kind of like that.
So like the NYC one is going to come with Mando and Grogu as the Iron Studios one does, but it also will have a switch out R5D4.
R5D4, yeah.
For the cockpit, and I like it's got a simpler base, and also the stand it's on, you could pivot the ship, so you don't have to have it straight. Like if you wanted it at like more an action pose, like the Iron Studios, you could do that. Also, I think honestly the NYC was a little cheaper, and it's larger. So that the NYC I think is like 1/24 scale. Oh wait, no wait.
No, it's smaller. It's smaller.
It's smaller.
The Iron Studios is 120.
120. Yeah. I mean, I still don't. I like what they were trying for that piece, but I don't like the execution.
Gotcha.
It was brave, but I don't think it stuck. And now I've totally derailed the entire show. I apologize.
No, it's fine. I mean, this is keep it casual, man.
That's dope.
Yeah, shout out to Steve.
Discussion.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're back on Coruscant.
I was so happy.
Welcome home, everybody. Coruscant, you guys know I spend my weekends there, my holidays. Whenever I can get to Coruscant, I am there. It is as spectacular as it looks, and I'm so glad.
It is beautiful.
They made this look so beautiful in here. I don't remember I mean, even when they did a little flashback on Obi-Wan, that was cool to see it during the day, but at nighttime, it's so alive, man. There was so much that we saw. And out of all things, we actually end up back in the Opera House that we saw from Revenge of the Sith. I mean, that was pretty cool. Keep it all. It's all familiar. So yeah, definitely great to see Coruscant again. Yeah. So here we are.
That's the closest that Pershing will ever get to an opera because he's being kept prisoner in this pseudo program that's supposed to improve things for him, and it's only keeping him down in the doldrums, even on such a fantastic place like Coruscant.
So I know, like, we obviously just got to Coruscant, and that was terribly exciting. But let me ask you this, and I don't want to skip ahead too much, and I swear to God, I'm trying not to skip ahead and go too fast. I'm just excited. What can I say?
You're dipset too, so we understand how fast you can go.
I'm with you.
But what was your first impression to obviously seeing Coruscant? I'm not going to accept any other answer besides elated. Let's be real. But what was your reaction to seeing Pershing? And I say this because I had people, like my boss's boss, be like, this feels like a total departure from what we just got. And I don't know if it was jarring because we got that excellent dogfight, and then we get into this, and it's like, well, where's this going? Like, we never thought we'd see this character again. So was it intrigue for you guys, or was it like, oh crap, this might be a bit of a boring one?
I'm wondering why he gets to live on Coruscant for free while the rest of us are paying taxes up to I don't know where. It is so incredibly unfair that he gets all that free stuff. He ought to be locked up. He's dangerous. Dr. Pershing can do a lot of harm if he manages to get his hands on things that he shouldn't be meddling with. So I was shocked that they had him. He's sort of out and about doing whatever he wants to. It's not safe to have somebody like that out there.
It made so much sense to me.
No business.
It made so much sense to me because of two words: Operation Paperclip. This felt to me.
Yeah, I understand.
After World War II, after we defeated Germany and we brought in Nazis because we knew how intelligent they were and we wanted their experiments and their data and their scientific brains as a result of the stuff that they were doing illegally during the camps. We wanted that knowledge as spoils of war.
But I got the impression that he was.
So this looked like when they got to get, reintegrated back into society, had to behave now, but yet they were still thinking, I was so close with my research. We were, jabbing one twin with a needle and seeing if the other one felt it. We were doing all that, and we were like, making cures and science and all this. And America's like, no, that was horrible. But what did you come up with?
But I thought this was the opposite because they didn't want him to practice. Did I
they?
get wrong?
Well, see, here's the. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. But here, real quick though, the beauty of this episode. I mean, the beauty of this entry, and why I was so happy to see him, is because it's this thing, the human condition with this individual. In his mind, it was for the greater good. Everything that he'd done was for the greater good. This is what he believes. And we know that people like this for the greater good and what they think is a tragic type of situation because it's not for the greater good. It's not always for the greater good, but he believes in his mind that it is. And the thing is, Elias played on that because she knew that this individual, he was stuck on his research. He was and her coming in at that very moment when he was speaking, his TED talk in a sense, her coming in was more informative for her because, okay, we know she's a master manipulator. And that's what she did this entire time. But it was using those things. His weakness is always that point. And she used the simple fact that he said, I lost my mother. He
just got too greedy.
Exactly.
He got too greedy and he did it on his own time. I guarantee you, if he would have paid his dues and just kept his head down and then put in a formal petition in order to start his research, they possibly would have had the potential of letting him in the future. But he got greedy and went out there and tried to do it on his own, and screwed himself. Because if that wasn't the case, why would they have let this fool out on the stage to talk about his cloning research to everybody?
And the one thing and here's the thing, if the one thing that we do know, and the thing is, we can't always go off of the simple fact that we have the Republic or even the Rebellion that are always squeaky clean. No, they're not. They will do anything that they can to control the situation, including letting someone right now who is completely unstable and unpredictable, letting him run on the loose. And again, they used her as a double agent, not knowing that she's a triple agent, but they used her as a double agent to get this job done and to see how far he would definitely go. What I loved about it is that we got also aspects of Blade Runner in this as well.
Yes.
There were a lot of aspects of reprogramming Blade Runner, and I love that. I love the simple fact that Pershing himself is so conflicted, and what we're seeing, and the thing is, when you think about it, it's like you're showing a lot of empathy for him, but then you got to kind of hone it in and be like, wait a minute, this motherfucker is really crazy. He doesn't believe he is, but he's really insane. He's partially insane. And again, he's weak, and they're playing on that. Why do you think? Look, people basically prey on the weak and feeble-minded, and this is exactly what happened. He's weak, he's brilliant, but weak, and they know that he can.
The first carrot dangled in front of him to go break the law, and he jumped right on it right away. And so it was a great, like you said, triple agent, because we'll probably get into that part of the triple agent part later. But this whole sequence, I'm sure I'm not the only one who thought of it. Most of the Star Wars fans have thought about it. This was an integration of Andor into Mandalorian. This whole segment felt like Andor. The dialogue, the intelligence, the slow burn, the cultures, the opera house, the Coruscant, the high class, high society, the manipulations, the politics. All that stuff that we wouldn't expect to see on a kind of like a fun popcorn type show like Mandalorian. We got to see Mandalorian infused into Book of Boba Fett, and now we're seeing Andor infused into Mandalorian. So this is becoming a shared universe on these Disney Plus shows where we're going to see segments of the way that not just the characters on the show, but the way the shows are done kind of like shared throughout their shows. And I thought it was just brilliant. It had to have been jarring for a lot of people who didn't really understand the switch up of pace, but I loved it because it added that depth to the show that we usually wouldn't expect.
I disagree with the notion that they wanted him to use the genetics. I think he was pushed to feel like he had to use it because of course Alia doesn't want anyone to know her involvement, and her involvement might be 100 times more sinister than his.
Yes.
So while he's like in the lab and, doing whatever it is, she's the one who was saying, let's do these crazy experiments. And he's living proof of it. I mean, he confessed to an entire audience something that was private. And now she's like, I really got to get and start working on him, because if he confessed that, only God knows what he'll tell the robot, his robot interrogator. Oh yeah, by the way, I know it was wrong, but I shouldn't have done this, but I was just following orders or whatever. And I think she could see the writing on the wall that she had to do something very, very quick.
But here's the thing. But did she though? Because here's the thing. Now, the way I'm seeing this is everything that was done was orchestrated. Even everything that he basically said. You don't think that she herself, because again, she's now working aside them as well. She's basically they've given her much more leeway than what we understand. And it's all because it's information. She's an informant in a sense. Give me some information. Tell us what we need to know. But at the same time, she's playing that hand as well. If she can gain the confidence of the Republic, if she can gain that confidence by throwing somebody else under the bus, the more power, the merrier. She got that. She got all the information that she needed. Again, triple agent. She's letting them believe that she's on their side when she's actually not. But using him as a pawn.
Because for all we know, she's gathering intel for Palpatine.
I interpreted it entirely differently. So I think we're missing, like, the TED Talk situation. He said that his research was twisted by like a perverse individual, and he's talking about Gideon.
Yes.
So from the onset, I'm like, she was a comms officer for Gideon. She's answering to Gideon still, and it's the same fear that the New Republic has regarding this integration system. And I think the like, we obviously had and it's not, to me, it's not Operation Paperclip, it's the opposite. Because they had Dr. Pershing doing marginal, below his station work, because they did not want to give him the opportunity to do anything regarding cloning, because it was the cloning that was illegal within the New Republic. It wasn't that they're like, oh, your research is, you're doing like weird experiments with Moff Gideon and stuff like that. No, it was just straight up like his entire field was outlawed.
Right, but in Operation Paperclip, they didn't let those scientists continue experiments. They just let them live because they knew if they needed information, they were there.
But the integration system, they talked multiple times about how they came from a camp, basically like an internment camp,
right?
To kind of like reintegrate them into society. I think to tamper all of that down,
mm-hmm.
and they put him in a situation where he was not doing any scientific research, and so that's another thing that made it really conducive for someone like Kane to come in. And I think, like, I didn't take it as she's being a triple agent. Like, I think she's cleaning house. Like, Gideon knows.
But if it's not for Palpatine, it's possible that she was just selling a score for Gideon. So it could be either thing.
He's not cloned yet. Like, he doesn't exist, which is the problem. So I see it as the cloning program. They're tying up loose ends from Rise of Skywalker, where Palpatine came out of nowhere with no explanation.
Yeah,
so
the
whole cloning thing.
So he could have been a threat to be somebody else who was able to clone, and maybe Palpatine or Gideon doesn't want anyone else to be able to produce clones. Well, I feel like there's just more to it than, oh, he's not done being a bad guy yet, so let me kill him or mind flay him. I just feel like there's deeper. It's deeper than that. It feels like.
I didn't see it that they're getting rid of him because they're afraid he's going to clone someone. I think it was like, hey, he has information that if a smart person puts two and two together, they could find out that Pershing was working for Gideon and trying to create a clone that could bring back Palpatine, who's like public enemy number one for the New Republic. So I think introducing Pershing, I think further goes into why they introduced cloning in the first place into the Mando series, which was to explain how Palpatine was able to return with little to no explanation in Rise of Skywalker.
Isn't that though betting on? So but then it's us thinking that Pershing knows a lot more than what he probably really knows, because we think that maybe at this point he knows nothing about them trying to bring Palpatine back, but he might know more about the simple fact, okay, they were trying to actually give us Snoke, or they were creating like a force sensitive being like Snoke. He probably had no idea about the end game. There's only so much that you'll let somebody know that's completely unstable, because they know that any given time you can get information from him. You know what I mean? So they may not at that point, they may not have, let him know that, okay, the ultimate plan is to bring back Palpatine, is to bring somebody like Palpatine back. You know,
and that's I don't know. I doubt he knew the end game, but the whole point is he knew enough for it to be incredibly dangerous. If anyone even got close to finding out that was their plan, was to bring back Palpatine. So I didn't take it to like Kane did it in order to get the New Republic to trust her. It looked very like occasional, where it's like, hey, like, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Like, I don't think she just goes around doing this. I think it was like her mission was to specifically target this doctor and, from a law enforcement perspective, entrap him into committing a crime. And when he got caught, that was her opportunity to kind of like wipe the slate clean. And it speaks to the stakes, basically the stakes being incredibly high.
The level of ulterior motive comes from her amping it up all the way to lobotomize him. If she would have just went through the processing mind flare, I forget what they called it, that wasn't mind flare. If she would have just done that, it could have been seen as really ambiguous whether or not she had any ulterior motives. But
I saw that coming from
trying to get rid of the evidence by killing him, that made it really look
I
guilty.
also don't think that the people on Coruscant actually believe that the doctor, although they went up to him and kind of confirmed. So you see that your research was bad, right? They don't believe that he's not ever going to be accepted into Coruscant society. And I think he realized that when they approached him and they kind of pandered to him. Oh, it's so good to see that you understand cloning is horrible. And I think at that point he's like, yeah, they're never going to look at me like I'm a normal person. And nor should they.
You know what? But see, because I'm thinking about this, I'm like, you know what? How much more do you need to actually, kind of tease a person's, curiosity, than to put them in a role that actually has nothing to do with, what their ultimate goal is. If you put him in that role, then you're basically stoking that curiosity, because again, you put him in that role, you're letting him know that they're getting away, or they're getting rid of equipment that's useful.
Yeah, it was a degrading job.
It's a degrading job.
It was cold. It's cold-blooded, man. Like, you don't got to put him on a job where he's throwing away, data.
And they're teasing him with that stuff, like, because they know. I mean, again, I'm not saying that they know this, but I think that, again, it was all set up and orchestrated. Now, he knows that he was set up. In the end, he was. But I think that, and I wouldn't even be surprised. I'm not saying that this is what it is, but I wouldn't be surprised if even, Kane's, agenda goes even, above even Gideon. If she might be even working for Thrawn. You never know. Basically, Thrawn could have these ties and saying, look, again, we know that Gideon is below Thrawn. Gideon is also answering the Thrawn. That's no question he has to be. You know what I mean? So again, like, if you see that one person fails, but you know that there's opportunity elsewhere, you're going to play your cards right. And I just think that there's something. But here's the thing is, the fact that we're all sitting up here talking about this and her just shows how well this episode was and how well the scenes were. Because her character, who again, from episode 1, I mean, from season 1 to season 2, was just like we thought would have been a throwaway character. No, she's highly important and highly capable of the way she thinks. So I like that. And I like seeing them when they actually go back to these characters and give them some shine. That's what I like about it.
Well, and I think I just want to say this before I forget too. So I think her being introduced in this way was almost like we talked about how this episode is very similar to Andor. It's like her name escapes me, but the blonde woman who was like Mon Mothma's cousin.
Oh, she was no, that's I don't know her name.
Is it begins with K? I thought, but so she was told to kill Andor.
Yes,
because Cassian knew that they were funding a rebellion, so that was enough for it's like, okay, we need to clean house because we can't trust that he has that information out there. I saw Pershing as like the same thing.
Her name is Vel.
Yes.
Vel, yeah.
And then also,
I didn't remember. I looked it up.
Rita, I really like that you mentioned that, which also Easter egg, that auditorium that the TED Talk was in was the same one that Anakin and
Palpatine,
the opera. But you had those like aristocrats there, and the one was like, oh, do you see you doing further work for the Empire? Oh, not Empire, New Republic. Like, oh, it's so hard to keep track. They don't give a shit what the government is doing. So long as they are making their money and living their best life in Coruscant with the pinky up and the caviar, they don't give a shit like what the government is doing. And I thought that was like so great because it's such a throwaway line, but like they included that. And I what I liked about this episode, and I understand like people could say that it was boring because it showed like, I thought it was so interesting to see, and it was quite dark actually, that New Republic was utilizing tactics that we've seen like the worst of the worst use, as far as they're trying their best, I guess, with like the reintegration camps, and they're making them wear uniforms and badges. Like all you needed that to be was tattoos on the arms, and the camps to have some barbed wire around them, and be a whole totally different scenario. So I think that really helps understand like how shaky this New Republic is, because they're trying to be so different from the Empire, but really it's like you're assigning numbers to people. Like we saw that with Finn. Like we saw
I think the beauty of that is like,
anonymous. Like, yeah, they give them. They have
like the criticism that we get here. Like, you know, there's people who disagree with the government who say Democrat, Republican, just two wings of the same bird, and that's not always accurate. But there's not a clear devil and angel in real life, and there isn't here.
I think it really speaks to the fact that like progression is slow. Rome wasn't built in a day. So I think they're just reverting back to, and it's almost like their actions speak louder than words, because the New Republic, we're seeing they're doing a lot of things that the Empire would have totally like stamped and their mark of approval on. Yeah. But yet they're saying this is Imperial technology, and therefore, regardless of what it was, you have to destroy it. So it's almost like that hypocrisy there. Yes. I did love that, just like rich asshole just being like, I can't keep track. Like the court, like they don't care about it's like they're like, okay, who are we voting for again? Like it's like it's an ignorance that I could totally believe in any universe, let alone that universe. And I know like some people don't like seeing that kind of everyday thing, like them walking around Coruscant eating ice cream, but it's like, no, like I love that. Building. That's stuff we haven't seen before. Yeah. So I really appreciate it.
Coruscant is the best.
I love the world building here. It's Star Wars is not like, this is a galaxy, a universe with, you know, millions of planets. It's not all, you know, family members fighting each other with lightsabers. There's so much other shit going on. Like the thought process behind having a portion of the original Coruscant in that world, and it being like the tip of the mountain, like that blew my mind, thinking about like how fucking much, like how above the clouds are they, that's how much of the city there is, that's the top of a mountain. Insane, of all that, they didn't save a park, you know, like how Central Park saved you know, a little part of, you know, actual, you know, green for New York. They saved a fucking like 20 foot of the planet. Everything else is is all city.
Did you when they were basically in that center, did you guys listen closely to the music that they were playing?
Yeah, definitely. Did you guys hear it?
Sequel trilogy, bro. Like they were playing it was the Resistance theme. It was the Resistance theme. Yeah, that was definitely dope, bro. I love that. I loved it.
But I agree with you as far as like that mountain tip goes, where it's like,
that was the peak.
So oppressive. That was the peak. Yeah. But I love
that was the peak of the highest mountain on the planet. That's insane. What they built on top of that damn thing. Real quick, if you guys don't mind. Breaking news. Had a delivery. Lil.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
Straight out of Compton. Actually, that was actually delivered from Compton. So I was like, hell yeah. So I got here in one piece. No bull.
I was wondering why you dipped out. I thought you was going nuts.
Yeah, I had to check on something real quick, and there it was, man. So I'm stoked for tonight. But anyway, continue, please.
Nah, that's and here, the thing is, it's like, again, like that's the beauty of it. You know what? And I couldn't have been the only one that when they showed Coruscant, I was just waiting. I was like, okay, pan to the left, pan to the right. I just have to see it one time. And I didn't see it once. And I was like, yo, they have to show it before they end this episode. I was like, please, the Jedi Temple still has to be there. I want to see it. Please. They didn't do it. And I was like, damn.
You didn't see that? You didn't see that Spirit Halloween logo on it. You didn't see it?
Yeah, Halloween station or something, or a mall.
Yeah. They completely like got rid of it from what I remember.
Nah, they didn't, because you got to keep in mind, bro. What did we see at the end, especially the new and improved ending of Jedi, when Palpatine died, and remember we seen the statue fall? When they panned to the left, the temple was there. It was still there.
But
it
they
was lit. It was still there,
renovated it though, from what I remember though. In
well,
the comics,
they could have.
It was completely renovated for the Empire.
I just wanted to see it. They could have, and they did renovate, but the temple was still standing. That's what I'm saying. Like, it was still actually there. So I just wanted to see it. And damn, they didn't show it.
So is Pershing's mind completely wiped or not?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah, he's.
I saw it a mile away. I'm like, yo, that dude's gonna fucking turn around and she's gonna turn that damn dial. And I like, I knew it. I knew it. It's like, damn, like, don't.
Did you see what Beskar Kid said? He said they turned into a spirit Halloween.
That's right.
He used to say my joke, but okay.
Or a mole.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
You know how when someone else says a joke and then it gets a big laugh? That's what Beskar Kid did. But it's okay. It's all good, Beskar Kid.
Did you say it? When did you say it? Today?
That's why he said it.
He said it.
Oh, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. You slipped because I didn't hear it.
Well, that's what he said. He's reacting to Vinny's comment, Spirit Halloween.
Oh, wow. I didn't hear it. My bad.
LMAO, bro.
It makes you feel better. I told you my joke about Cocaine Bear earlier because I'm like, yo, it keeps getting laughs. So like I swear to God, one of my coworker who's heard it like 3 times, I'm surprised he doesn't roll his eyes every time I say it. But like I had one of my like bosses at work come in and we're talking about the fact that we saw Cocaine Bear. And he was like, how was it? And I was like, perfect. It had just the right amount of cocaine and just the right amount of bears.
Perfect.
And,
let me ask you a question. So when we get to the scene, of course, I know we're skipping, ahead, but when we get to the scene where he's being lobotomized and right before it happens, I just want to know, because I don't know how a lot of people feel like this. When we were talking about earlier, that line that we got from the first episode, or the first episode of season 3 from, Den, when he was like, oh, that's using your head. A lot of people was like, oh, that's kind of cringy. How did you feel about Pershing saying it's a trap?
It's a trap.
And then they went right to my man's face.
Exactly.
Like,
so what did you think about it? Did you think
I was bugging? I was bugging. I was like, nice touch.
That was so dumb. I mean, do they really? I thought it was dumb. I get the humor of it, man. I mean, hey, you guys remember in Star Wars when Admiral Akbar said it's a trap and they referenced the Mon Calamari? Come on.
Yeah.
Nah, they don't get into that, bro.
I like that they're just showing some love to the Mon Calamari, man. I do love that. I love that we're seeing it. But it again, like, and I think like for this, even that scene, it's going to be interesting. Now, I'm not going to say that they're going to go back to Coruscant this next episode, because again, they're probably not going to go back until a couple more episodes. Again, they're just trying to tie in some loose ends, so at least we can understand where they're going. Not saying that they won't, but I am definitely interested to see what's going to happen with Kane. Like, what is her plan? Like, how that completely unfolds? Because again, like, we know that the First Order is taking shape at this point. It's all happening. So
early stages,
like the early stages of where it's going to go and what her role is going to be. I saw somebody,
I finally have someone I might be able to cosplay as.
Yeah. Hey, right?
Like almost.
I'm gonna hold you to that, man. We're gonna hold you to that. We're gonna have you on Scoundrels with a full-on cosplay, dude.
That's what Matt said while we're watching it. Where he's like, "Yo, she kind of looks like you." And I'm like, "Okay,
you can do it."
Wow,
you can do it.
Wow.
She did look amazing as Kane. I have to say.
You know who she looked like, though, right? She looked like an adult Omega.
That's what a lot of people were saying.
Oh, really?
But
she's too young.
She doesn't look like Morrison, though. But I don't know if that's intentional.
She looks like Morrison's sister.
I don't see that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, look at her face. She looks like Omega.
You think she's too young? I don't think so. I think she could be about age.
No, because look at how old Boba Fett is.
Yeah, she doesn't have the accelerating process, as far as I know.
Right.
As far as the growth acceleration.
I don't know.
She would be older if she was.
Dude, that'd be interesting.
Something was sort of leaked about Omega that wouldn't make this her, though. There was something leaked. I'm not going to go into it, but there's something leaked. It's very important, but there's something leaked. But I don't.
She could also be a potential Abby for any Last of Us fans out there.
Damn, she could.
You think so?
Maybe she'll get the part.
She could.
Might
She could definitely be.
this might put her on, more on the map, because this was a hell. I mean, she was incredible in this episode because she had to be evil, a soldier, and funny and charming. She had to do a lot of things. I mean, when she tricked him into touching, the mountain, like that was like, is she playing him? Like that was natural. Like that was really, really good chemistry, and she just acted her ass off in this episode. She was really good.
Yeah, she definitely was, bro. And the thing is to play that way, because you didn't, like, y'all, again, like somebody said, I almost believed her ass in the very beginning. Almost believed her, but then I was like, nah. Once it started going, and just the conversations that she was having, I was like,
but she did a good enough job to believe that Pershing would have believed her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she didn't seem like clearly, like, and they didn't do a lot of hold the camera on her while he walks away and she makes a menacing, look, they didn't ham it up. They made it subtle.
Yeah, the clues were there too, dude. I mean, not just with her, with her facial expressions too, but did y'all notice that her ice cream was red? I mean, come on, that's a red flag right there.
Yeah,
her space ice cream. I mean, come on, we
her
already
photon fizz, what they call it, photon fizz.
Yeah, something like that.
My bullshit meter's pretty strong, so I was like, nah, it's a trap. Nope. Because it just seemed like, what would be the end game? Us just seeing Pershing with this like makeshift lab, trying to do cloning research. I was like, no, this is not gonna end well for Pershing.
Especially with like, what did he have? He had like a lunchbox worth of cloning equipment. Like, well, he had like the easy bake oven of cloning gear.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
I love just seeing the Star Destroyer though. That was just incredible. Just seeing it just sitting there, and like a ship at a shipyard. Like, just the idea of how ridiculously cool it would be just to explore that thing. It was amazing.
Yeah, I love the way it looked. I love the exploration of Coruscant in general. The things that we weren't able to see before. Anytime you go back to Coruscant here, but this is the thing though. As much as I love Coruscant, I just hope that they don't keep, again, I don't want them to just like beat it to death like that, Laurel. Like they just keep going back to Coruscant, like they keep going back to Tatooine. I mean, just kind of spread it out a bit. I mean, it's good to see it, but
grow
just don't
the universe a
overdo
little
it.
bit more.
Let's go to
don't shrink it.
Casio Moon. There's plenty of places to go.
Yeah, don't cook it. Don't overcook it, man. Like straight up. Like, but it's decent to go back. But we know that, pretty much the Empire has a presence there still. So, I mean, it makes sense. You know what I mean? But, yeah.
Honestly, as soon as we saw that episode and, like, it ended, I didn't get the impression that we're going to see Coruscant again. I kind of got the impression that episode, like, the goal of that episode was to show us, like, how far-reaching the Empire is. Yeah. Even though like, it's almost like, to me, I think the New Republic is almost in this like state of, oh God, I can't say that. I'm trying to think of a better analogy than this. They're in a state of like blissful, comfortable ignorance.
Yeah.
Where I think that like Bo-Katan knows the kind of like warlords that are trying to keep power, and Mando does, and these smaller communities do. And you've got the New Republic that are almost like, I envision them around the galaxy almost like state troopers, where it's like, damn, they're outnumbered all the time. Like, so therefore they're only on the highways. So they don't really know what's going on in the towns because they're too busy patrolling the highways. So I see the New Republic as like being this blissful ignorance that their integration stuff is working and that the worst of the Empire is behind them. And I'm like, yo, like there's some shit behind you that's like lurking in the background. And it's going to hit you the second you think that you're... Because, like, I think that this is how the First Order started. I think, like, the First Order was almost like a sleeper cell that eventually came to power. And because it's like, how did they go from, like, fireworks on the Forest Moon of Endor to, shit, who's this Kylo Ren dude? Yeah. And this ginger who keeps yelling a lot. And they look kind of like fascists. Like, what the hell? Like, what'd you guys screw up? Like, who did what? And so I think that this is, like, how it starts, is that almost like how the rebellion was this, like, small thing this small group of extremists that end up this huge force. I think it's the opposite, where like the Empire has these small like sleeper agents that are still wanting to further what the Empire was all about, and they're the ones who are now dormant and trying to build up resources. And that's people like Kane. So I don't think we'll see Kane again. I think that was just to prove to us that, like, hey, our heroes are not safe. Like, just because Gideon's gone, like, there's 5 more that you don't know about.
The threat is still there.
Still working on.
I don't know. They built up this whole clone story, and to have her disappear after this one episode, I think we're going to see her again. You know, I think we're going to see her back with either Gideon or maybe
it might have been
Thrawn.
to springboard her into Ahsoka show, just like how they had Ahsoka on here to kind of set up her show too. But I also love the duality, because here's a world where there's tons of politics and giant space cruisers and, you know, integrated society, and you have so much just, you know, civilization and politics and so much dense complex. And then on the other side, we got the Mandalorians living in a cave like the damn Taliban, where they're almost like primitive and thinking that, you know, they're bathing in, you know, waters to purify themselves. Like, it's so polar opposite of 2 worlds, and they're constantly butting heads. Like, they're interacting with each other. And Mando's people comes from a society where they had their own planet and all this shit too, and now they're just getting by on literally just living off the road and living off the land, because they don't have a planet and castles and societies anymore. It's all kind of been taken from them. And so to have them so concerned of their, you know, of all their own bullshit, and to be completely oblivious to mythosaurs and, you know, like flying right under the radar, that like is of, you know, a Jedi and a Force sensitive user, whatever. That I love the duality of it. Like, there's such a different tone and like atmosphere of what each society is bringing, that I love that they took a second away to show you just how, you know, vast the universe is, because this was a ton of amazing world building here.
Yeah. Did you see? Did you take notice of the that protocol transport droid? Did you notice it? Did you know that it's a Ralph McQuarrie design?
Yeah.
I thought it looked familiar.
I actually did. That flew over my head. I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It was dope, bro.
Well, he was white. He wasn't gold. I think if he was gold, it would be a little too on the nose. But I really like the design of him. The one thing I was thinking about while you brought up some great points, Vinny, about the duality. I almost think while we said that this episode reminded us of Andor because it was smartly done, I feel like it was dialogue heavy, but it was good dialogue, and story building without that much action, which would remind you, I think, of Andor at times. Yep. But I almost think that what I liked about Andor was that it was hopeful, where like you saw like, okay, we're going to see Andor become the hero that we know he is. Yeah. This, it filled me with dread, where it's like, oh, like our heroes are not safe. Like the threat is not gone. And I think I like that because it feels more realistic, where it's not just about mythosaurs on Mando. Mythosaurs on Mandalore and Bo-Katan versus Mando. It's about them versus the Empire. So that might be what. Yeah. And of course, the one scene, we're an hour in, so I apologize if this is too fast. But I figured we'll mention the last part of it, which was Bo-Katan being brought to the covert. It's covert? How do you say it?
The covert. Yeah.
And she kept her helmet on, and she was kind of accepted within that group. So I think it's like I keep thinking that Din and Bo are going to be at odds. Now, because of that scene, I almost think that they gave us hope that they're working together, and at the end, they gave us hope that they're going to continue to work together and be aligned with the same goals because they're in the same covert. But then the middle part of it filled me with dread that like, oh shit, they're not safe. Like they don't know that the enemy lurks underneath. So it's almost like, is it going to be Bo-Katan and Din Djarin and the Mandos versus whatever's lurking, hopefully Thrawn or Gideon, who knows? So I think that remains to be seen.
It felt like another weird hint about Armor maybe having intentions too. Is she accepted Bo-Katan really quick, and Bo-Katan didn't ask to be.
But did she though? Because this is what I'm saying. Like I look at it from that scene, I kind of played it from so many different perspectives. Because again, Bo-Katan had no idea where she was headed. No idea. He didn't tell her until she got there. Okay, so number one, her world or her home has been destroyed. The plan was close to home. She's right there by Mandalore. She can go back at any given time. Right now, she knows that they're patrolling that entire area, so it's not safe. She can't go back to Mandalore alone. Now, she didn't know what to do until she got here. She's accepted into this covert with the knowledge of the Darksaber, with the knowledge of, the Mythosaur. So she has that knowledge of all of this. They don't know that it's there. She hasn't said anything about it. So again, that's that trump card for her. So again, she knows that her tribe have left her because they weren't confident. Now she has a tribe that accepts her with the knowledge of everything that she already knows. It's a way for her to say, okay, cool. I could be the one, number one, she can challenge the Armorer if she wanted to. Like definitely she could try to challenge the Armorer. With the knowledge that she has, she can challenge Din, take over that entire covert, then at the same time, have them go reclaim. It's building for her. Everything right now is knowledge and everything that we know. Now, on the flip side is that we can say that maybe, again, she could be the rightful ruler. Maybe she could be that person that brings everything together. But right now, that intent and that intentions and things that she's keeping to herself, there's an ulterior motive.
She wants to make damn sure the convert doesn't go over there and find the Mythosaur and do all that shit. She's not going to
tell anybody anything at this particular point because, again, the first part of her plan was to go home. All right, Din, I would invite you in for dinner, but you're not going to take off the helmet. We know that. Okay, peace out. Now I know I can go back and try to do what I can. That portion of it failed because there's no way she can go back now. The
only way for her to be accepted now is if her house was blown up and they were after her. So now she has an excuse to be forcibly accepted, having gone in the waters too. It's kind of like if that's what she wanted, how the plan was supposed to work out, it worked out perfectly. Although I wouldn't want my house to be blown up, but I guess she figures she'll get another.
Can I just say how embarrassing it was when Armor was like, "Did you go in the waters?" and Mandalorian was like, "Yeah, I did." And Bo-Katan was like, "Yeah, he almost died. I had to jump in to save his ass." I'm like, "Yo, you don't have to tell him all that. I didn't ask you all that. Damn."
But it's a smart move. And then on basically the Armorer's side, keep your enemy close. Plain and simple. Keep your enemy close. You never know what's going to happen. I'm going to watch you. Maybe she has a lot of knowledge. And again, there's a lot of mystery surrounding the Armor. We don't know there's things that we don't know yet.
And so Charlie mentions like, the Armorer definitely knows who Bo-Katan is because it was during the Book of Boba Fett, one of the best Book of Boba Fett episodes ever, the one where he was barely in it, was when the Armorer was talking about Bo-Katan being like a tragic cautionary tale. Yeah. So I don't think that the Armorer thinks too highly of Bo-Katan. So like I think that the Armorer might have some alternative motive where she might be like, keep your enemies
close. That's why I said she wanted to keep her close so she can figure out what she's up to.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I still believe that the Armor, there's a possibility, and I'm just saying she's downplaying her knowledge of Mandalore. She probably knows that Mythosaur's there.
She'd have a lot more control over them if they're on their own, like a Splinter Cell, than if they were on their home planet.
Rita, just raise your hand when you want to talk.
Because he was, he kind of was presented, let's say, so far in the season as being in the front. And, then when they tried to go into the covert, so to speak, he was like, we'll see. And it was almost as if he's challenging them right there from the get-go. It's not like the Mandalorian is a stranger and he doesn't know who Bo-Katan is. He knows who she is. So, he acted like they were almost like enemies, even trying to enter. So I think it's very interesting. I wonder what his role is going to be in all this, because I don't think he's just going to be like, I'm the guy holding this big weapon. He's challenged Mando before for the Darksaber. you know, he might be another person in this, but I have a feeling that he and the armorer are like this.
Look, they showed those helmets. Those it was, what was it? 4 helmets that they actually showed. Den's, the armorer, the heavy Mando, and Bo-Katan. That was actually on the promo pics. A lot of that was on promo. So they have a role to play. All 4 of them have a role to play. It just depends on, and it's all individuals who could vie for power. So it's just going to be that struggle within the ranks. We just have to see who comes out on top at the end. You know what I mean? So
I think the Bo-Katan of Harrisburg finished the episode because she says that she also thinks that the agrees with single songwriter that the mythosaur might have imprinted on Bo-Katan. That's
might have, because it didn't kill her. It just looked at her and she looked, you know what I mean? So again, there's reasons behind everything. She was the first to see it. She asked Den, did he see it? He was like, no, which answered the question that a lot of people had last weekend. Did they both see it? Nope. It was just her. Well, and I knew, also, for some reason, I just knew she wasn't going to say shit.
Someone mentioned, who was it? I think it was one of my coworkers mentioned that when Din Djarin was unconscious, it looked like Bo-Katan still had the saber. So part of me wonders if the mythosaur was not looking at Bo-Katan in recognition, like, oh, that's a Mandalorian. But I wonder if he was like, there's some kind of, he or she, there's some kind of recognition because it acknowledged that that person had the dark saber. Because the whole legend was that they had not only the mythosaur but the dark saber, and I always forget the first ruler of Mandalore's name because I'm awful, but like
Mandalore,
yes, Tar Vizsla. But and because it's Tar Vizsla, I could totally see Heavy Mando, you know, big boy Jon Favreau being like I'm gunning for Bo-Katan because like that's literally my namesake is to rule Mandalore. And so if he thought that he could take Mando, then I think he's probably thinking in his head that he's going to try to take Bo-Katan.
And see, I saw a theory someone had last week, and I was like, I don't know how to feel about that. It's a possibility, but I don't know, because I don't even think Bo-Katan knows herself, but maybe she does, because she did have a conversation with Grogu. And she asked him about a Jedi, like how strong is he in the Force? So, you know, her asking him that question, knowing that we've seen on 2 occasions how Grogu is powerful enough to tame these beasts. So it's like, could she also need his aid to help tame that mythosaur? Because he has that ability to do so. He's so in tune with the Force. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that could happen, but again, nobody even mentioned how. And I'm like, you know what? Even me, who's not even softy like that, it was cute as hell to see Grogu right near his dad, just standing there waiting for him to wake up. Like he had his hands on him, rubbing him and all that. That was adorable, bro. That was dope.
Also, one of the best things about the past 2 episodes is Grogu was not in trouble, and he just was. He was capable. He wasn't going around fucking everybody up with the lightsaber or anything, but he was capable and he was able to, you know, get out of the way when he needed to, go get help when he needed to, which was leaps and bounds beyond the first season where you didn't know if he was going to use the Force and take out, you know, an enemy or just stand there and get shot. You know what I mean? Like, he was inconsistent.
Producing sound.
Exactly. Right. His first words were, "This is the way," right? I still was wondering if they were going to have his first words, you know, be the way this is, you know. But
oh my god,
that would have to be learned.
Do you guys think that Grogu has a chance of becoming ruler, wielding the darksaber and
no? Disney's going to keep him that age for 20 years, bro.
Maybe in the future generations, 100 or 200 years from now, he'll have a better chance. Once this whole crew, once this motley crew is gone, and you have some fresh Mandalorians who are more open to the idea of a Mandalorian like Grogu.
I have a question. I have a couple of questions because I've been thinking about this for a long time. And I don't want to forget it, so I just need to ask this question, right? So, number one, do you think that there are still clones out there, that they still exist? They're just
like clone troopers, right? Or just clones, period.
Clones, period. Not troopers. Yeah. Well, you know, just ex clone troopers, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Okay. My next question is, so we know that they are descendants of Jango Fett, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which Jango Fett himself was a Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does that count?
My question is, how, if you want to bolster the ranks, and if they're out there, and they are descendants of Mandalore, I'm just asking a question. I'm not saying that but I'm just saying, if you want to bolster the rank and they're out there and they're still around, could they, kind of bring them in?
Good Mandalorians follow orders.
Yeah, but we saw Bo instantly reject Boba when he saw her, when she saw him. She said, "You're a clone. You're not a Mandalore. Your dad was a donor or something like that." So
yeah, and we did see that one, but at the same time, again, we know that from what Boba showed Din and what was coded, that he then accepted it. It doesn't matter what Bo-Katan says at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Look at how hometowns here. Like, just throw them in the water.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
when in doubt, throw them in the water.
So I mean, I'm just saying, like, if they're out there, and I was thinking about that, if they're still out there and they're still scattered, because right now they're scattered like Jedi. You know what I mean? So again, it's just a possibility if you want to bolster the ranks and at the same time give them purpose, because they'll follow, and at the same time, they want to strive as well. Like, why not? I mean, just to make them more interesting, because I think, like, I still want to see the redemption of these clones. I still do, because I just want to see them with purpose.
DJ makes a good point. So we did see one of them, an unnamed clone trooper in Kenobi.
Obi-Wan.
In Kenobi, yeah.
But we know where that takes place long before.
Yeah.
But I thought you were going somewhere totally different with that, where I thought it's funny, Matt and I were talking about this too, like the dilemma with Grogu, as far as, like, yes, he's adorable. He seems like he's getting a little more capable in his abilities and what he's able to do, where he's learning about navigation, all that kind of stuff. But it almost seems like there's a big gap there in that he's 50. And I think in canon, we know that, like, Yoda started teaching Jedi when he was 100.
Yeah.
We're almost halfway. It's like, that seems like we've got a long way to go before
I said that from jump.
Another 50 years. I thought you were somewhere with the age acceleration.
What were you going to say, CC? I was trying to.
I thought you were going somewhere with, like, the age acceleration of the clones, where it's like, hey, like, would they utilize that kind of technology where the clones were developed to age much faster than normal humans so that they could be soldiers for the Clone Wars? But what Matt and I discussed was, it wouldn't surprise me if at the end of the Mandalorian series, because we know all things have to come to an end, they did some kind of epilogue where we saw an adult Grogu. And, like, I think we all know that concept art of Grogu as an adult, and he has the pauldron that's got the mud horn on it. Yeah. And it talks about how, like, Jedi aren't supposed to have attachments, but he did. But yet those attachments, like, he has to say goodbye to them because he obviously ages a lot different than humans. And someone was like, well, how can you do that? And he was like, no, like, this is the way.
Yeah.
I love that. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that in some sort of epilogue where we see Grogu as, like, an adult appreciating his life with Mando. But that's all I want to say. Sorry, Mario.
No, I like that. I like that theory. Aging Grogu to get around the hurdle of the way his species ages. Because if you just had it, I mean, him being 50 and Yoda being not, being like kind of like an adult, like around at 100 or so, that doesn't make sense. It would, based on like extrapolating the data of him being 50 and being like a toddler, you would think that he was like 400 by the time he was like an adult. So what are they going to do? They're certainly not going to have, Disney's certainly not going to have Grogu be like, look like this for 400 years, or have to worry about setting a show 400 years in the future in order to have an adult Grogu. So they got to work around that somehow, because while they're going to milk this for all they can, if they ever want to do a show where he's an adult, you're going to have to set it hundreds of years in the future. That's
we're basing all the data we have just off of one being for this entire species. I think we got to give them the benefit of the doubt that Yoda could just be like an anomaly. We don't know whether or not Grogu is gonna like age as quickly or as maturely as Yoda did.
Well,
it might take some time. Do we though? Do we actually have her age and her history as far as when she like started training to become a Jedi, and when she was on the council and all that stuff.
I always thought that may work around it with like what if he went to a cocoon and molted and then just came out older, kind of like Groot.
A little molt, like a little pop or something.
But another thing too, do you guys remember with the clones? They were still they were out in batches. They were still producing clones when Kamino was destroyed in the Bad Batch. Sorry guys, spoilers.
But
there were still some younger ones there that might be around. The growth acceleration. That's like another 30 years. So they could be like around, maybe 40-ish, 50-ish. By the time that we're at in this current timeline. Mm-hmm. They could be out there. Those could be like the last of the batch.
That's what I'm saying. Like the only person that we know right now is Omega.
The last
Omega.
batch.
We know Omega. Like she's one that we've seen, but that doesn't mean that there might not be more.
I heard in a previous stream that some people were saying that they think that they might have used that mind clearing machine on Grogu. Do you guys think that might have happened at some point?
I always look at. I feel like PTSD is more interesting.
I think it's trauma.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody had asked Dave Filoni. I was watching. Like when you watch, like they interview people during or right before season 3, like you see like different content creators. And they actually have interviews with like the different whatever. Like they have like those Skype reviews and stuff. Somebody asked, I think it was the father and son Star Wars. I think they do like interviews and stuff like that. Where the son asked Dave Filoni, could we find out at the end of the run for the Mandalorian that it's Grogu who has been telling his tale the entire time? You know what I mean? Who's told from his perspective. And Dave Filoni didn't say a word. He was like, "Oh, there's always things out there. You just never." But he never really, he never answered the question precisely. So, again, there's so much. It would be interesting, if it's just a tale that's being told and we're seeing it through the eyes of Grogu the entire time. You never know.
Shit, it kind of blew my mind.
Totally off topic, but I just realized I've had him in the frame the whole time. And we mentioned concept art.
What's McCory?
So this is
That's
like
amazing.
the Kotobukiya. They did it quite a while ago. I think this might be like 10 years old at least.
Really?
But it's got like the blue to them as well. It's just plastic, like PVC.
That's dope.
But and then this one I think is nice. So and the scale, I think they're like 1/7 scale. But this
nice.
is and you can
we need that, and we need that in 6 scale for real. They need to give us 6 scale figures. That'd be so crazy.
Shoot, I want quarter scale from Iron Studios. That'd be sick.
That'd be crazy, bro.
Well, I do know a custom statue company that's looking into doing McCory statues to go with the sideshow ones. Those ones were one's 5th or 7th. I can't remember, but I got them to go with the Mario. Remember this?
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Yep.
Oh yeah!
That's the one.
Nice.
Classic.
That's the one we got.
40 Star Wars 45th.
Yeah. So I'm gonna display the statues, the art, and then I have replica sabers of like the concept sabers from that painting, life size.
Oh, they actually made those?
Yeah.
Oh, so
I think they're still available. They're sold as a set. I like them because they're very obscure. You'd have to really know what you're looking at. But I got to figure out how to display all of that together.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know that was Kotobukiya that actually did that.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. They can be kind of pricey, but
what are they going for these days? If you don't mind me asking.
So, I mean, Mike Costa had some crackhead prices. So,
all right.
But like last time I looked into buying them, I think they're like the last few I saw on eBay were like $600 to $700
a piece, or for the set?
For the set. Mike was like,
"That's all right."
Mike was like, "Do you need the box they came in?" I was like, "Nah, bro." And he's like, "All right, $150 shipped." I'm like, "Okay."
Holy shit, dude! Crackhead prices indeed, man. Damn. Yeah, he actually hooked that up. That's really cool.
That's dope.
Oh shit, but
yeah,
guys. I mean,
I can't wait to get to that Right now, in the back of my mind, right now, the only thing I can think of, and I forgot about it until like yesterday. I was like, yo, I cannot wait to see that Jedi, that temple scene. That's the one I need to see. That flashback, I need to actually see that, bro, because that needs to explain a lot. I just hope they don't actually just keep stretching it out and we won't find out again who smuggled him out, because it's like at this point, come on, man, just let us know. Like, tell us. Yeah, man, just tell us. Like, let us know who it is. Like, straight up.
So we're already 3 episodes in. The next episode will be 4, and we're halfway done with the season. It just seems like there's gonna have to be a lot.
How many episodes
wrap
is it?
up here?
8.
8 episodes a season.
But this was a 1 hour long episode. I think that's a.
I love that.
Yeah, how are you guys liking the runtime? This is great.
You know what? There was 3 different moments I thought we were done. When they seen the Star Destroyer and it faded to black, I thought that was the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And then when they there's like 2 other times right after that, and they kept going, and I was just like, because I wasn't like watching the runtime. I was just so excited because we're so programmed to, like, at this point I'm used to 30-minute episodes, and if I get 45, I think we made out. So an hour of Mandalorian, I was so beyond happy. Like, I kept thinking that was it. And it was just like, but wait, there's more. It's just awesome. It just kept going. Yeah. I love it.
Definitely want more of that. Definitely want more of that. You guys happen to know like what the next one is as far as the runtime? Was there any rumors out there yet?
I didn't see it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the runtime is.
I don't follow that stuff. I'm just like, I have to find out when I show up at 1 in the morning.
I can't believe you're still doing that, dude.
Yo, I know the toy is out there, bro, but so we were upstairs. We were like, the TV was on. She was laying there asleep. So I had the TV on and I'm sitting up there watching, just waiting for 3 o'clock. I was like, I'm waiting for 3 a.m. I just wanted to wait. I wanted to watch it because that's what time it comes on. I'm like, yo, I just want to watch 3 a.m. Right? So she turns around and she sees me slightly doze off because I was watching Martin, bro. I was like, let me just watch Martin. Just go keep me up. So she's seen me slightly close my eyes, and then I open them and I'm just looking at the TV. She reaches over and grabs the remote at 3 o'clock and turns it off.
We were this close to achieving greatness,
bro. And I was like, yo, I wanted to say I was watching. I'm waiting for 3 o'clock. I was like, you know what? Never mind. I'll just wait till the morning, man.
You're like, damn, Toya.
At 3 o'clock, bro. I was like, yo, I'm right there. Like, let me just watch. Nope. 3 o'clock lights went out.
You were already asleep anyway, man.
Bro, I would have stayed up. I just
you were dozing off, dude. You were dozing off, bro.
I was reflecting.
It's funny. We've been doing this whole thing where like I'm up at 1 o'clock in the morning to watch this for a while now, and it's been fine. There's one time that I was genuinely sick and I called out of work the next day, and I had been a dumbass and I joked with my coworkers, hey, if I call out sick tomorrow, it's actually not because this illness is getting to me. Like I gotta stay up to watch. Damn, I don't know what it was. I think it was Kenobi. And then the next day I called in sick and I was like, yo, like I was seriously, and my boss called me and I answered the phone like, hello. And he was like, Jesus Christ, oh my God, like never mind, like just go back to sleep. So they knew I was actually sick, but man, this last week I slept awfully. Like I normally go to sleep for like 3 hours before the episode, and then I wake up, watch the episode, and then I get like 2 or 3 hours before I have to go to work or get up to go to work. I normally wake up at like 6 a.m. to go to work. I slept through my alarm. I woke up at 7:10. And I was 10 minutes late getting to work. I walked in at 8:10. And they were like, you don't look like you're running late. I'm like, dude, I feel like I'm running a marathon. And like, no, I was not going to walk in here with no makeup on and show my shame to everyone that I overslept this morning because of Mando. Like, but yeah, it was...
Everybody already knows, so who gives a shit? I mean, come on. Don't be so hard on yourself.
I'm like, I wake up like this. How dare you? Okay.
Okay. All right. Also, sometimes Hero says that Carl Weathers will be back next week, and he's also directing and directing as well. So
was he the one who directed the one where like you saw the dude standing behind the wall?
Oh, I don't know.
What dude?
Gene's guy.
The plainclothes production guy.
Remember Gene's guy when it was a meme because they caught somebody behind a wall? And you just seen like half his leg.
They cut him out later on after
the
internet got him.
That was his episode, and I was like, was that why we saw the dude with the...
That was funny.
So that means the Mandos are going back to Navarro. Maybe the pirates are invading. So that's probably going to be that episode.
We're probably going to get
I
IG-11
hated
in
those
that
pirates.
episode.
Didn't even make any sense.
I don't
know. What if we get Hondo? You think that would be a possibility?
Pirates is to introduce Hondo.
Right? I'm kind of leaning towards that theory, man. We'll see.
I hope they drop the whole pirate thing. I don't want to see Swamp Thing pirate. I don't want to see any of that. It just was corny.
I liked it, but I
would love to see Hondo though.
Hondo was dope, but those pirates trying to drink at a school and not.
Yeah.
Did you say Yondu?
Why?
No, Hondo.
Hondo.
Oh.
Hondo? Is it Hondo?
Hondo. Yeah.
Hondo.
Do you think we'll see Thrawn? I don't think we'll see Thrawn.
So do you think that when he gets back,
the last minute of the season finale?
What if we could, and then they fade to black, Thrawn will return in the Ahsoka series?
Probably,
I will.
I could set that up. I could see that.
Lose my mind. You hear?
I know. Dude, they mic dropped it last time with Luke. They're gonna mic drop it with Thrawn. Watch.
You think
that can happen?
You think we'll see?
I mean, that's about as big as
new and improved IG-11.
Oh yeah, I think so.
They go back. Yeah.
I think so.
I'm not sure, honestly, because it's almost like that was like a loose end they didn't tie up. Is like, oh, you need this special part to fix them. And it's like, oh, let me go get this part, and that's like, JK, I'm just gonna bring a totally different droid.
Yeah.
To Mandalore. And I'm like, what does that mean? That was like a whole. Like
that's part of why I feel like episode 1 is just, I don't even count it. That episode was a wash. It didn't make any sense. Didn't even make any sense that IG-11 would have salvageable parts enough to even rebuild them. And it certainly doesn't make sense that if they found parts of them, they would have used them as a statue. Like, they would just make a statue. Why would they use those robots' parts? It's like...
They're cheap. Well, also space
Wouldn't it be cheaper? Wouldn't it be cheaper to just make a cast of paper mache or something than to go retrieve droid parts from a lava pit? I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. And it certainly doesn't make sense that at this point Mando would still be looking for that memory circuit. When the whole point was to get a droid to go check the air quality on Mandalore, and he knows it's fine.
Splunking.
There you go.
Yeah.
While we're like totally off the rails with the most recent episode, which I appreciate.
That's how we do.
Yeah.
Can I ask if anyone here is getting any of the Celebration art prints, the exclusives?
I didn't. I haven't really had the time to really. I've been trying to so hard to get everything together, like just making sure that I'm ready for it. I mean, they just shipped out the tickets this week. You know what I mean? So people should start receiving theirs now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hang on. There we go.
And Andy Serkis is going to sign it.
So I found out that Hayden Christensen is going to be in Denver in like July, and it's going to be like a lot cheaper to get a signature then. And I might be able to get it for free. So I also have an art print that mainly features Anakin that I think I'd like to try to get him to sign. I'm not typically one for signatures because I'm socially awkward. I don't want to meet people. But I think I might try to get him to sign it. As far as the Celebration exclusive prints, the only one I got was the Rogue One.
Rogue
One.
Are they letting everybody buy the prints already? Like early merch?
Oh yeah, they went up. Oh shoot, they went up the 13th. I want to say, and they're available until the 20th. Pickup only, just like last year. So if you order them, like you have to get someone to pick them up for you because they're not going to be shipping anything. And then there's also some controversy. It's fun. It's like there's 3 I was interested in getting: the Rogue One, possibly the Andor that Rita got, and then the other one was called Hope. And it was like Luke's mechanical hand reaching up, and then it was like his saber, like kind of deconstructed with the kyber crystal, and it was on like a navy background with some like lime green. So there's some controversy. The artist decided to pull it at the last minute before they went up for sale because someone pointed out that the hand was photoshopped from an Empire magazine cover from a few years ago, and that the lightsaber schematic was actually from a totally different artist. So, in everyone's best interest, he decided to pull it.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Shit.
And I'm also like, damn it, I kind of like that one, but knowing the ethics behind it, no, I can't rightfully look at it the same way, knowing it was plagiarized.
Yeah, especially double over. Like it's not like he drew the hand and then just like kind of borrowed the construct. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it right now, man. Sounds like we're pretty much winding down, but yeah. Final thoughts on the episode altogether, man. I thought it was great, and just really looking forward to the next one. I mean, first time watching it, it did throw me off the whole Pershing stuff, but after watching it again a couple times, it really got more interesting. So I really held my attention. So great episode, man, and I can't wait for next week. But yeah, y'all, let's go ahead and wrap it. We'll start with
a request for our celebration attendees though. If they have a booth selling those yellow biscuits, somebody gotta bring me back one.
I'll bring you back a box.
Yeah.
I want the red biscuits.
I want to at least see what they look like. That's got to be interesting. I've never seen red biscuits before. I like to think of them as like litmus bread, like from Lord of the Rings, where like just one bite will hold you over for all day.
So, I have a dilemma. I collect badges, so I have like the New Republic, like Marshal badge, a few rank badges, and I have the like Grand Inquisitor badge from Kenobi, and they're in a shadow box. I don't know if I have any space in that shadow box, but damn it, someone already made that badge that Kane and Pershing wear.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
In the episode. Yeah, and it's been like less than a week, but someone already like
That's
made
insane.
them out of like CNC acrylic, and I'm like, shit, I'm gonna buy that.
That's insane. So shit. CC, what you got going on with Rogue One 6?
That's a fantastic question. So we don't have group therapy this Friday. We'll have Shelter in Space, where we'll be watching the newest episode of Mando live. That's going to be Tuesday at midnight. So for me, on Mountain Standard Time, that's 1 a.m. And then if you're on the East Coast, it's going to be 3 a.m. on Wednesday. And Jason's probably going to fall asleep again because being on the East Coast sucks. And then I'm going to try to I'd like to do a print show, availability pending, and possibly Wednesday. Because I was trying to do them on Tuesdays, but with the Shelter in Space, it's just real rough to do two shows within a few hours of each other. Mario and Leal do that shit every day of the week, but it's not. It's just not.
It catches up, believe me. So I don't do it if you don't have to. I would recommend not to. But yeah, CC, it's always great to see you today, or Thursday nights. What's going on with your channel? What you got going on?
Well, guys, of course, you can catch me on Positive Fandom for my Sunday brunch shows. I just finished The Last of Us live watch parties. I'm doing live watch party for Mandalorian as well, and reviews on the channel too, as well as historical fiction reviews on the channel too. But also on the Burr Network, I'm doing obviously Midnight Musings with Lael and Robert, but also PGS Tracks, which I'm reviewing live when it comes out at 3 a.m. as well, and along with PGS reviews and a bunch of other things on the network. But you can also find me here, obviously, with you guys on Uncivilized Scoundrels, and of course on Lorena Creole's channel as well. So that's what's going on.
Perfect. Always great to see you.
And you can find me on Coruscant.
And Coruscant. There you go, guys. Keep an eye out. You should be out there somewhere. Passing out them biscuits. Lel, thanks for coming through, man. What you got going on, bro?
Oh man, we have Collectors. No, yeah, we got Collectors Lounge International on Sunday, but tomorrow night, of course, we have Figure Flex Friday.
Yeah.
Monday is Comic Book Talk with Friends. Of course, next Wednesday is Say What Wednesday. Of course, back here on Thursday, full rotation. Got a couple videos that I'm going to be dropping this weekend, especially Division. video that I have for Take Your Position. So I'll be dropping that finally. And yeah, I'm gonna actually be building. This weekend I'm gonna be cleaning up down here, finally building the garage shelf that I have. So I'll be putting that together this weekend.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll be doing that this
fun.
weekend to kind of make room. I mean, especially considering the simple fact that hopefully I should have my NR Joker double pack tomorrow. So that's, you know, it's in New York. It just went past customs, so I should actually have it tomorrow. So we'll see.
Nice. Well, awesome, man. Everybody check them out. Vinny, my man. Last but not least, what's up with you, dude?
Good, brother. Just catching up on some artwork. I took a little break after my last con, so I got a bunch of projects to catch up on, a bunch of reading, just catching up on shows and stuff. Back to work, and I'm guessing I have no idea what to expect. I gotta probably talk with you guys after the pod about this to get more info. But I it feels like a million years ago pre-ordered Mando Luke, and apparently that's shipping out now. So I haven't got an email that mine's on the way, but that should be coming soon. So I'm very excited for that. That'll be my first 1/6. So.
Oh snap! Congratulations!
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. Luke is, you know, Leo knows how I feel about Luke, so it's very fitting first 1/6 for me.
Hell yeah, bro!
That's amazing, dude. Well, congratulations, man! Everybody, thanks, man. Follow everybody here on the chat or on the panel. Rather, I got everyone's link in the description below. As for me, tomorrow night, Friday night, LWO. You guys already know on P-Rock's channel, so come check us out there. And yeah, Wednesday night we'll be back on Leo's channel for Uncivilized Scoundrels. So yeah, so that's a wrap. Thanks for everybody for coming through tonight. We'll see you guys next time. Stay uncivilized, y'all.
So uncivilized.